Tonight, 3 former St. Louis aldermen are asking for another chance with less than a week before their sentencing and just days after photos were released of them taking thousands of dollars in bribes. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush, and Allred has the night off. The former aldermen are making pleas to avoid jail time, even though prosecutors released a dozen photos that show all of them accepting money from an undercover informant. 5 on your side's Travis Cummings talked with a legal expert about what we can expect to happen next.
Good evening, Mike. At this point, former Alderman Lewis Reed, Jeffrey Boyd, and John Collins Muhammad are making every attempt to convince the court they're good men, despite pleading guilty. A legal expert I spoke to says no matter what happens, they'll set a precedent in local politics.
Well, it looks like the U.S. Attorney's Office is really cleaning up politics in St. Louis City and St. Louis County.
So much that 3 former St. Louis aldermen put out memorandums calling for a second chance, just days after photographs surfaced of them accepting bribery money from an informant. Jeffrey Boyd reads these were, quote, isolated incidents. The loss amount was very small and that he had no criminal history. Also, that he can be heard telling the FBI informant paying him the money was not necessary. Lewis Reed's attorney argues he poses, quote, no danger to the public, is highly unlikely to reoffend, and that the higher punishment won't stop others from doing the same thing in the future. Meanwhile, John Collins Muhammad's counsel believes community service is appropriate because it allows him to, quote, utilize his best talents to assist others in need. St. Louis University law professor Anders Walker says these men are trying to convince the judge that jail time isn't warranted.
In this case, it wouldn't serve any real retributive or utilitarian goals. These individuals may have already suffered quite a bit of public shaming, and so sending them to prison for a long time makes no sense.
The U.S. Attorney's Office is suggesting a range of 37 to 46 months behind bars for Muhammad and Reed, and 30 to 37 for Boyd.
These are not considered serious violent felonies, and in this case in particular, it's not a lot of money we're talking about. So what exactly is prison going to do? Have the public been harmed?
Walker says whatever happens in court, it'll send a message to all elected officials.
The feds are looking at what they're doing, and they need to stay on the right side of the law.
The judge will have an opportunity to read through these documents. Sentencing hearings for all 3 of the men are scheduled for next Tuesday, Mike.
Travis, thanks.